Hey guys, it's Amber for CutCardStock, and today I'm Copic coloring Tropical Bouquet by Alex Syberia Design on Curious Metallic Cryogen White cardstock. Here's a screenshot of how I set up my digital stamp and digital background in Photoshop. Up in the top right hand corner, I'll link to a video where I show you how I do this process, so you can watch that video, and I will have all of the supplies listed down below. Here's a screenshot of the Curious Metallic cardstock. Unfortunately, I could not get the sparkle of this cardstock to show up on film or on camera, so I went ahead and put in that screenshot here. But it has the loveliest sparkle to it. So if you're looking to add some sparkle to your design, it's an instant way to do it. Just print your digital images on that paper or use your photopolymer stamps and stamp it out and go ahead and color on that paper, and you'll have the prettiest sparkle. So here I have YG03 and I'm just filling in the Monstera leaf. And typically what I do is I will print my images on a half sheet of cardstock. That way I have the space at the bottom to test out colors and also to record those colors so that I can share the colors with you in the blog post and in the video. Here I'm coming in with YG67 so that I can add some dark shadows, and then I'll blend that out with YG63. So I'm just taking those dark edges and blending that out, and I'll blend out the edges of the YG63 with the YG03. This is pretty much my go-to leaf color. I use this color combination all the time. I finally was able to get a YG03 refill. I was having a hard time finding that particular one. And I'm just building up the color and blending it out so that I have some shadows here. I went ahead and filled in another leaf so you can see the difference between just the flat one color and the shadows when you add the shadows. I chose orange for the hibiscus. For the majority of the hibiscus, I do one in yellow, but I'm using YR02, YR07, and YR15 for these. I'll also bring in a darker red. I didn't feel like these three colors together had enough contrast to add the deep shadows. So here I'm just going to test out a couple colors, and I landed on R17 for the shadows here. I feel like you could even go darker, but I kept to just these four colors here. So here I'm starting with the R17 and then coming in with the lighter colors, and that's because those petals are smaller. So if I have a large expanse to cover, like those leaves were pretty large, I'll start with the lightest color and move to my darkest colors. If I have a small area to cover, then I usually will start with my darkest colors and then blend to the lightest. And that's because in your smaller areas, I tend to be heavy-handed, so if I add too much ink, then it's more likely that I'm going to get bleeding outside of the lines. So that's how I try and control the amount of ink that I'm adding. So for the yellow flower, I'm blending in the same manner, and this time I've used Y13, Y18, and the YR02. And do I come in with a darker color? I come in with the YR07 to just deepen up those shadows with a little bit of the orange. After this, I'll move on to the sentiment, which I wanted to do in an ombre color to match the orange hibiscus. So a lot of times if I'm going to print my sentiment, I'll do one like this. I'll print it in white with a black outline around it so that I can color it in and match it. Of course, if you're stamping, it's easy to match your inks, but if I were to try to color match this and print it in a color, I would never get the right color. So I find it easiest just to print it in white with a black outline and color it in. So let's chat about these plumaria. So typically when I color flowers, I will pull up a photo reference and refer to that. I did not do that on these plumaria. I kind of thought, oh, well, I kind of know what they look like. They're a little bit darker on the lip that goes over. No, you guys, this was my least favorite part of this project, was how I colored these plumaria. And it was after the photos that I realized why. I didn't really like them when I was doing them, but it's because I didn't add any shadow underneath the lip that curls over, which is so weird. Normally that's one of my favorite things to do, is to add the shadow underneath the folds and the nooks and crannies to add that depth. and I didn't do it with these. And so they look really flat to me, particularly compared to the leaves, which have a lot more dimension. So for the plumaria, I used the YR02, Y00, and the colorless blender. I'm gonna come in with a little bit more of the Y13. And for whatever reason, when I was coloring these, I couldn't figure out why I didn't like them. So here I have a Derwent tinted charcoal pencil. This one is in elderberry. I was trying to go for more of a blue shadow, and that's why I chose this color. It's kind of like a dark smoky blue. And then I have a Tortillon or a paper stump here, and I'm just blending that out and pulling out the shadows just to add a little more depth. You can see I did add some shadows to the plumaria. To the centers though, you guys, I didn't add any where the flowers curl over. So again, those look pretty flat. So if you're going to color this, what I'd recommend is adding that shadow underneath the little lips of the petals. I hope you guys enjoyed this project today, and I'll see you soon with more inspiration. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and ringing that bell so you don't miss any new inspiration. Here's a couple more videos for you before you leave, and I'll see you real soon.